How do we even start with this? Like, what's the first step to like normalizing this kind of chat at home?
Well, firstly, just to even normalize your experience and say it's pretty scary to understand that only a quarter of the schooling population has been taught financial literacy at this level. So,
And is that the quarter that choose to take economics?
probably, right?
Wow.
Probably. And so whilst it is coming in next year in the curriculum some more, what better teachers than the parents? So the best way to normalize it, firstly, is understand what your kid's leaning is around money. We were just talking off air of, is your child a saver or a spender? That is the first place to start. Do you even understand who they are and what their preference is? Mine are young, as I said, but you can see it in their approach to food a mile away.
Oh, yeah, you've got the hoarders and the eaters, right? Like I've got one child and they're the same. They fit their like saving money profile. Like one of them still has candy from like last Christmas or maybe even Christmas 2 years ago.
Yes.
I actually have to go through her lolly stash and like systematically, sneakily cull stuff because I'm like, that's really old and gross. The other one has got nothing. She eats it immediately.
That's it. And our role as parents is to take our kids on these extremes, whether it's lollies or money, and start to create those conversations. And so our best tip on that is around how do we have life-on-life conversations? How do we be normalising that all of us have a profile, and that should shape the approach that we're having to the conversation.
Okay, so how can you sort of educate them about their habits without creating like shame or pressure?
Yeah, that would be our next area to speak to, is keeping it positive.
Okay.
So rather than saying, no, we can't afford that, how can we keep that really positive in the, what is something we can afford around that? Or looking at them and looking to try and understand that wants and needs, that same principle that is there for us as adults, right? There's nothing unique to this. What's a want? What's a need? How do we identify that for ourselves?
That's great. It's interesting how you see your weaknesses as a parent with your habits when you're trying to encourage your kids as well. Like, I think it's been really convicting for myself and my husband around this as well. Like, okay, we actually need to model this in our own lives as well, not just be one that spends and one that saves. You know, we actually have to work out good strategies. So let's talk about the practical application. So let's say school holidays are coming up. Parents might have some time off to be at home with their kids. Do you have some practical suggestions or things parents can do to try and build in some financial awareness together?
Yeah, that's it. Well, first it is to have that conversation intentionally, but school holidays next week, maybe you've got an allowance for school holidays activities, and just that life-on-life piece, bringing that forward and going, hey, we've got X amount to spend over the holidays. How might we approach that around the activities, what we spend, what we're going to do with our time, and involving the kids early on in understanding that stewardship and the decision-making. Or perhaps if your kids are a little older, don't know if yours are ready for this yet, Kat, or if you're ready, but allowing them to do the supermarket shop.
I was just thinking about that. I was thinking that's a great idea. Like you give them, you know, let's say $200 and go, we need to buy all these things. Here's a calculator. Good luck.
Good luck indeed. And how we support them and navigate them through that and allowing them to see that, you know, because as they get older, we want them to not enter the world going, oh my goodness, where do I even start? And we hear it all the time from the clients that we work with as they say, no one ever taught me. And we are perfectly positioned to equip people with what they need.
Yeah, that's so true. Starting while they're under that umbrella and that support network of home, right? So it's not like you just, I mean, it's like swimming. You don't just throw someone in the ocean and expect them to stay afloat. And I think sometimes kids leave home and their parents have done a lot for them, trying to be good parents with good intentions. But then all of a sudden they're in a flat, they're getting their student allowance and they just, you know, pilfer it and have no money for food because they've never learned how to do a grocery shop.
That's it.
Wow, this is great. So I know that Cap's got a bunch of resources on the website and places that you can go to and people that you can get in touch with if you need a bit of support. What would people's first port of call be on the webpage when it comes to this kind of activity?
Yeah, if you're finding yourself hearing this going, well, I don't have those skills to teach my kids, check out capnz.org and explore a Cap Money course near you. So you can do that locally or if there's not one close to you, online. So capnz.org to check that out.
Amazing. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss the next video.
We'll see you in the next one.